You ever get a letter so outlandish you have to check twice to make sure it's not a prank from one of your buddies? That was me standing at the end of my long gravel drive, mug of coffee in one hand, holding this gold-stamped envelope with the words Pine Grove Ridge, HOA blaring at me like some medieval proclamation. The thing reeked of importance. Thick ivory paper, gold foil, probably cost more than a month of my grocery bill just to print it. But the best part, it was addressed to me, Craig Mills, not resident, not to whom it may concern. No, they knew exactly who they were targeting. Now let's get one thing clear, my property. All 6 glorious acres of it sits outside their little HOA kingdom. There's a strip of woods and 400 feet of reinforced fence between us, like some kind of DMZ for folks who want to grill in peace without worrying about mailbox color coordination. I've never signed a covenant, never waved at their parades, never paid a dime in dues. We don't share a zip code, let alone a sense of community. So I opened the letter expecting a missed delivery, or maybe an invitation to a bake sale. Instead, I get this: Dear Mr. Mills, your backyard pool has been selected as the host for our annual community social. Kindly unlock your gates, clean the pool, and provide refreshments. No please, no request, just pure suburban entitlement in 12-point font signed by Karen Stroud, President, in looping cursive. I read it 3 times just to see if I was missing a punchline or a coupon for therapy. Nothing. I stood there watching the sunrise, feeling like I'd stumbled into a satire of middle-class America. I mean, who does that? Who decides your home is the community clubhouse and expects you to serve lemonade? Anyway, I figured maybe it's just some mix-up. I sat down at my desk and wrote back, polite, firm, attached a scan of my deed and property map with the line between my world and theirs highlighted bold. Not part of your HOA, not your property, not your problem. Best regards. Senate thought that'd be the end. It wasn't. Less than an hour later, my inbox pings. Mr. Mills, your refusal is noted. While technically your property is not under HOA governance, we consider all adjacent landowners part of our broader community. You are morally obligated. The nerve! I could practically see Karen's pastel blazer and steely glare through the screen. This wasn't about community. This was about control. That was the moment I realized I wasn't up against bureaucracy. I was up against a self-appointed monarch with a clipboard and a dream. I felt that old itch between my shoulder blades, the one I used to get working private security right before some idiot did something reckless and expected me to let it slide. So I took a walk around my property, breathed in the scent of cedar mulch, checked the lines on my fence, watched the light play off the pool. 6 acres of hard-earned peace. I'd spent years making this place a fortress, not out of paranoia, just a belief in boundaries. I updated the security system, more cameras, tighter locks, intercom message, upgraded to private property, all unauthorized entry will be documented and reported. Poured a stiff drink and waited because I knew this wasn't over. Friday rolls in, Carolina heat sticking to your skin, air thick as soup. I'm out running errands, security set to full lockdown, not because I expected trouble, but because the only thing more reliable than HOA drama is southern humidity. And sure enough, just before 5, my phone buzzes. Driveway cam shows a convoy rolling up SUVs, minivans, some sedan with pink balloons flapping in the breeze, people spilling out with coolers, lawn chairs, even a karaoke machine. And at the front, Karen herself, clipboard at the ready, flanked by 2 men who looked like they lost a bet. She strides up to my gate, tries the intercom, nothing but a polite automated message and a steel fence between her and my pool. She calls 911. Of course she does. You don't rise to HOA power without a flair for the dramatic. I grab popcorn, settle into my deck chair, watch it unfold on my security feed like reality TV. The sheriff shows up. Blake, good guy, helped me install some farm cameras a while back. Karen launches into her speech. He's endangering the community. The gate should be open. His pool is an implied easement. Blake listens cool as a cucumber, then tells her, Ma'am, Mr. Mills isn't part of your HOA. His land is private. You can't force your way in. Karen's face turns the color of a boiled lobster. She flips off the camera. I nearly choke on my bourbon. By sundown, the party's over. Guests shuffle out, some trying to save face by taking selfies at my no trespassing sign. The only thing left behind is a sense of deflation, like the air's gone out of Pine Grove Ridge's collective balloon. I sleep better that night than I have in months. Saturday morning, though, the games begin anew. In my mailbox, thick envelope county seal. Anonymous complaint, unpermitted pool. Safety violations. Karen's handiwork, no doubt. Thing is that pool's been permitted since Obama's first term. I compile every permit, every inspection, hand it all to the weary county inspector who looks like he'd rather be anywhere else. He flips through, nods, mutters, "Yep, all good." I ask, "Let me guess, someone from Pine Grove Ridge?" He cracks a smile. Doesn't answer. But Karen isn't done. More complaints. 2 bright lights, privacy violations for my cameras, threatening emails from the HOA board warning me my uncooperative attitude could result in escalated action. It's paper-cut warfare. She wants to wear me down, death by bureaucracy. So I adapt. Upgraded cameras, thermal imaging, license plate, capture mics at the fence line. And the logs don't lie. 4 nights running, someone's lurking at the southern edge of my property, Karen's build. Karen's purse once at midnight, once at dawn. Next thing I catch her, Gerald and some scrawny accomplice actually scaling my fence with a ladder drone in hand. They launch it, buzzes over my yard, filming like they're shooting for HGTV's most annoying neighbors. Joke's on them. My system flags the unauthorized drone signal and pings the sheriff's office directly. By the time I get home, Blake's there, Karen and crew in cuffs, drone confiscated. Karen, all high and mighty, tries to turn it into a misunderstanding. Blake just tells his partner to read her rights. Watching the queen of HOA bylaws frog march to the squad car, clipboard abandoned in the grass. I'm not proud, but I laughed so hard I got a stitch in my side. News gets out fast. HOA president arrested for trespass and drone incident. Karen's mugshot splashed across the web. HOA forums melting down, neighbors. Her own neighbors calling to apologize, to thank me, to share their own stories. Lisa, from down the street. She once cited my son for mowing the lawn with headphones on. Paul, the wind chime guy. Yeah, she fined him for auditory ambiance violations. Karen wasn't a leader. She was a tyrant with a spreadsheet and a god complex. HOA implodes, emergency board meeting, open air. Karen stripped of presidency. Gerald resigns in disgrace. Board dissolves under public pressure. Local news runs exposés on HOA corruption, misuse of funds, even fake landscaping invoices traced to Karen and Gerald. We hand the file over to the county prosecutor, embezzlement, fraud, you name it. Subpoenas fly. Their bank account freezes. I file for a county grant to turn an empty field I own adjacent to Pine Grove Ridge into a public recreation area. Freedom Springs. The name alone gets a chuckle from the clerk. Construction begins using the recovered HOA funds. Suddenly there's a real community space open to everyone, no HOA strings attached. You'd think that'd be the end? Nope. Karen takes one last swing, sues me for defamation, loss of standing, obstruction of HOA duties. My lawyer Robin calls it the weakest case she's seen in 20 years. We countersue for harassment and malicious prosecution. Karen retaliates by sneaking onto my property and flipping the breaker panel, caught on camera. Arrested again, no drama this time, just pure fury. The day in court, Karen tries to turn it into a speech about unity, tradition, neighborhood pride. The judge shuts her down, dismisses the suit with prejudice, and slaps her with a restraining order. Karen violates that too, caught following my truck, 3rd arrest, and finally a sentence, 30 days in county, a year probation, psychological evaluation ordered by the court. Not one neighbor stands up for her. With Karen gone, HOA dead, Freedom Springs open, and my backyard returned to peace. There's a lesson I keep coming back to, one that I wish I'd learned sooner. Boundaries matter. Not just the ones you draw with fences and gates, but the ones you draw with people who mistake control for community power, for purpose. There's a line between neighborly and nosy, between tradition and tyranny. Let folks cross it even once and they'll build a highway over your dignity. And sometimes the only way to defend your peace is to stand your ground firm, fair, and with a sense of humor. Because the people who think they own you are usually the ones most threatened by your freedom. So here I am, pool shimmering, mailbox Karen-proofed, no trespassing, no HOA, no Karen sign bolted to the fence. Folks still come by, take selfies with it, laugh at the legend. Sometimes I wonder what Karen's doing now, plotting a comeback maybe, or just yelling at pigeons in the park about bylaws. Either way, my lawn is mine, my gates are locked, and in my own little kingdom, 6 acres wide, the only rule that matters is respect the line. Let me ask you this. Where's the line for you? How far should community rules go before they turn into tyranny? Ever had a neighbor cross it? Share your stories below. Let's talk about what real justice and real community ought to look like.